Hello everyone, it's Kari, and today I have this cover die, and I'm going to show you 4 different ways to use a cover die on your cards. It's going to be very quick, but also very fun. We are celebrating artists Katya and Jenny for 5,000 YouTube subscribers, so this is part of a video hop, and there are lots of prizes. Thank you so much to these sponsors. Stay tuned because I'm going to explain how you can win some of these prizes at the end of the video. So this is how this die cuts out. It cuts in 2 different pieces, and for the first one I'm going to take my blending tools here. I keep these in a color case right at the top of my desk, and I love having them there so they're ready to use. I'm only taking 4 different colors, but you're going to be amazed because we're going to turn this into 5 or 6 colors at the end here. So I'm taking first my red, which is Festive Berries, and then I'm going to ink on some yellow, some blue, and then some purple at the end. And I'm making these spread out a little more than usual because I want them to blend into each other to create another color. Normally I would take red, yellow, and blue and turn them into red, orange, yellow, blue, green, and then I'm adding a little bit of purple on the end here. You're going to see in just a minute what I'm talking about there. I keep pulling that cover die in to see just how well that it's fitting with that cover die for radiating rays. Rainbow radiating rays. I kind of like that. Look, see how the yellow and the red turned into an orange and the yellow and the blue turned into a green there. So we have some really great variation in color. Now I'm going to take 3 different die cuts and stack them on top of each other. I'm just using my favorite liquid adhesive here. This is the Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. And I'm adding just a little bit of glue here and there and around the edges so that these will stick together beautifully. I'm piling up 3 of each of the sections here, and now I'm going to add them right to the card that we ink blended, and this was so fast and easy and created such a wow background. And I'm going to show you in a minute how we'll turn all of these into the cards at the end. For this one I die cut some chipboard, and I'm going to take the outer pieces of chipboard and add some pop dots. So these are going to pop up on my card. The reason I'm doing this with the chipboard is so that I can create a sturdy place for these to be popped up onto. So this chipboard is going to be the backer for some of my colored pieces that I'm going to color up in a minute. That one stuck to my hand just a little bit. And I'm just going to use that as a guide to place those in where they belong. So this is my second idea, is to use the negative pieces to create a beautiful background. When I die cut my very first one there, I saved the inside pieces onto some Glad press and seal, so it would be very easy for me to figure out how to put them back on to these shadow stabilizer pieces that I created. To color up these little mini pieces, I'm just going to take some finger daubers and some distress oxides to do kind of a pastel celebration card here. And I accidentally put my pink one into my orange one, but it's okay because I just wiped it off onto paper and went back at it. Now I did leave some of these mess ups in here, and for some reason I had quite a few this time. I don't know what my issue was on this day that I made this video, but I did leave them in because we're all human and these are handmade cards, right? So there's bound to be a few little mishaps. So I was starting to get my groove. I put the pink one on my first index finger and the orange one on my second middle finger there, and then I ended up putting the orange one in the pink. So I just took a tissue and wiped it right off, and it was as good as new. No worries. If you get a little mixed up like I do sometimes, these are all fixable. Now that I'm moving on to the next 2 colors to ink blend, I moved the orange Dauber to my first index finger and the yellow to my middle finger, and I continued on this way, and then I did yellow to green, and now I'm going to use that center piece there to do a little bit of ink blending to finish out the rainbow pastel colors. I'll take shabby shutters and tumbled glass and milled lavender to ink on some letters that say yay, and then I'm going to take them and ink it onto that centerpiece there. And at first I just used some finger daubers and a scrap piece of paper, but then look at that beautiful design that it's creating. So this is going to create a bonus card for us at the end. So I ended up taking some Neenah Solar White to do my inking so that I could create a fourth card using this as a stencil. So all I'm doing is just holding it onto the paper here. I'm inking on my first color, which is that green. Then I'm going to take the tumble glass and ink it on the second portion here. And while I'm coloring up my piece, I'm also creating a beautiful stenciled piece below. This is so easy to do and creates an extra little design for you. Look at that. Oh my gosh, I'm in love with it. I love it when happy accidents happen and you can create another card along the way. So I went ahead and attached that centerpiece there to our card, our second card here. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on to our third card. And the third thing is to use embossing powders to create a glittery background for that cover die. Now you can use glitter paper if you want, but I just thought it was going to be fun to combine these embossing powders to make a really fun background. So I started pouring them on, and I tried to remember that once I poured them on to make them come off the same side so they didn't go all over the background. That way I could use 4 different colors. So see how I'm tilting it down so that I don't get it all over the rest that's already inked up with that sticky embossing powder ink. But then when I got to the green, I was doing really well. And see, I did really well, and then I missed a piece and it went over into the last line there. I thought the blue, and then I had my fan on. So of course, disaster struck during this entire card making session, but it's okay because we are going to use this to cut it down and you're not going to even notice some of those mistakes. I hope you won't. I'm going to attach that with some liquid glue and show you the backgrounds that we have so far. So this third one also I'm going to cut down and cut off the edges so that you're only using the inside pieces of the cover die. That's part of the third technique. I forgot to mention that. And one of those pieces I'm going to use for the fourth card too because it cut such a beautiful glittery stripe of color that I loved and couldn't possibly throw away. Here is our first card. I just added a smile die cut that I cut out of black cardstock and then added a little glitter pen to that. I attached the yay to that celebration one up top there, and then a celebrate die cut to our glittery one. This fourth one was the surprise bonus with the stencil technique, so I challenged myself to use some items that I already had just sitting around on my desk. I had this hope die cut and also a sentiment strip that says this never gets old, so it's kind of like a funny card. Hope this never gets old. I'm going to send that to one of my friends that I send cards to all the time. I attached some gemstones to that one to finish it off. And here's a look at all of our cards. They are full of life and joy and celebration, which is exactly what we're doing on this video hop today. There's lots of prizes. The more you hop and comment, the better your chances are of winning a prize. So please be sure to like this video, comment below. The deadline for comments is June 5th, and prizes will be announced on Ardith, Jenny, and Katja's blog on June 6th. So go ahead and continue on with the video hop. I have the link to the next hop in my description below, so go ahead and click on that. Again, I thank you so much for stopping by today. I really appreciate all your likes and comments. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing. I'll be back with some more inspiration, and congrats to my friends who've made it to 5,000 subscribers. Thanks for letting me join in on the fun. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.